I was recently obsessed with getting a pair of these Tom Sachs shoes. I signed up for the updates, I waited online in queues just for a chance to buy the custom shoes with Tom Sachs and Nike. I was pretty convinced that this would completely satisfy every need. I did get the shoes, did not satisfy my needs. What I love about Tom Sachs is that he customizes everything. I have a ton of old tools, and both my grandfathers did this. They would, put their last name on something or maybe even an address in case it was lost. I've carried on this tradition. I like to write my name on tools. I like to turn closets into workbenches. I like to cut little pieces of plywood just right for my pencils. I like to make my own Sennheiser mic case out of plastic pipe that looks a little bit like a pipe bomb. I recently was at Walmart and I noticed that they like to do the opposite. They like to rip things off and make it worse. One afternoon while cruising the aisles, I noticed these New Balance rip-off beauties, and I decided to make my own version of the Tom Sachs boring shoe. And I would call them the Tim Sachs boring shoe. These are the Avia Men's Cool Walker Wide Width Sneaker. So I started taking the labels off with Goo Gone and acetone. I added some loops to the tongue. I cut the back of the heel and I proceeded to make my own label via some fake leather and a Cricut iron-on. I love the creative flow that I get into on these weird projects, and I love putting on music or podcasts and getting just lost in the flow. If you know me, this is why I know very little about sports, but I love the art of tinkering and customizing. It allows me to be messy and have no rules, clients, or deadlines. Growing up, my dad was super into model railroading and building custom mountains out of paper mache and bridges out of balsa wood, and I used to think it was super weird. But now I get it. He was dipping his toe into the creative flow, and he was expressing himself. I love this quote. It is when we act freely for the sake of the action itself, rather than for the ulterior motives, that we learn to become more than what we were. Do you have anything that puts you into the creative flow? I create for a living, and I have this interesting relationship with pimping out my creative ideas to other people and companies. I both love it and I hate it just about every other Tuesday. And one of the ways I avoid burnout is to create myself some time to put myself in the flow for no other reason than to make something for me.